Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's Plugin of the Month series with Peldi Gugliazzoni of Balsamiq. My name is Todd Revolt. I will be your host and MC today, and I'll also be facilitating any of the questions that we have at the end. First, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Plugin of the Month series, as well as a little background on Peldi. This is a monthly series, and it gives you an opportunity to see some of the plugins that have been developed, not only by some of our partners, but also by some of the developers. We'll also be showing some demos, not only by Peldi in this series, but with Adam Ride of Big Brass Band, and from Oren Tesh, who's based out of Palo Alto, and they'll be doing the showing you JIRA and Confluence, the plugin of JIRA and Confluence, respectively. A couple of facts about our plugin community is we have over 400 plugins and extensions for our products. I would say about 97 to 98% of them are free, but there are some commercial plugins out there. And we have a developer community of over 250 developers in our developer network. Our developer network is run by Jonathan Nolan. Jonathan, unfortunately, could not be here today, so I guess you got the second best thing. But you can find out more about the Atlassian Developer Network by going to atlassian.com/developers or by emailing Jonathan directly at jonathan@atlassian.com. A little bit about Peldi. Peldi is based out of Bologna, Italy. He is the founder of Balsamiq Studios. He's also the CEO, CTO, CMO. He's the C-level executive there. He started coding at the age of 12 and ran the biggest Ultimate Frisbee site. He joined Macromedia, which then turned into Adobe, and after 6 years founded Balsamiq. He also likes to cook Asian food with his family, which apparently is not too easy to do with ingredients. One thing I would like to say about Balsamiq, I skipped over this point accidentally, not intentionally, is that Balsamiq is probably one of our most popular plugins. It's one of my personal favorites, and in just a short time it has gained over 2,000 customers, and the run rate of new customers every day and every week is just astronomical. It's really quite impressive what Balsamiq can do, and I enjoy it quite a bit, actually. So with that, I'm going to hand over the presentation to Peldi and let Peldi go from here. Okay, and Peldi, you have the floor.
Hi there. Can you hear me and see my screen okay?
Everyone says yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, I wanted to thank Morgan and Todd and everyone at Atlassian for this very exciting opportunity. So I have just a few slides, and then we'll show some demos, which I hope you'll enjoy. So a little background on Balsamiq. So that's me. Hi. And Balsamiq is a tiny, tiny company, meaning it's really just me. So I'm not just the executive level, but I also, sweep the floors and make coffee and do everything that needs to be done. Luckily, that's it's been fun and everything, but I am very excited to announce that my first full-time employee will be starting next week. So I'm very excited. He's mainly going to focus on development so that I can focus on customer service and partners and all that stuff. Another couple of people have been helping me. My wife Mariah, you might email with her. She's in charge of giving away licenses to nonprofits and do-gooders, and so you might get in touch with her. And I've hired a few contractors, but more or less you're looking at Balsamiq in this slide here. Let's talk about Mockups. Mockups is my first product, and it's a plugin for both Confluence and JIRA. And basically is a wireframing tool. It lets you design websites or web apps or software applications in general. And then I'm working on some iPhone stencils so that you'll be able to design iPhone applications very soon with it as well. As you can see, the output looks like it's hand-drawn, and this is intentional. It's a look that nobody is afraid to criticize. Basically, the goal of the tool is to try to replicate the experience that you can have on a whiteboard or on a pen, with pen and paper, but on the computer. And it takes advantage of the collaborative features of Confluence and JIRA so that your team can iterate on designs as early as possible in the process when it's cheapest to do so. And the software is designed to be used both by developers and people who are technical, and also business owners, product managers. Even Todd knows how to use it, so it must be simple. So, but anyways, so the tool has been very successful. Let me give you a few selected Twitter quotes. This person has a man crush on whoever built it. This person wants to marry it. Super easy, worth every penny. I'm hooked. Love, 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 love. So it's been quite amazing what kind of great support I've been getting from the community on this software. One slide about business. It's true, I am a small company, but you don't have to worry about it. It looks like I'm here to stay. I have almost 2,500 customers right now, with about 150 new customers every week. Most of the customers, as you can see in this graph on the left, are for the desktop version. Ooh, apologies for the church bells again. The desktop version is a $79 install that you can buy. But Confluence is a good 30%, and JIRA is the rest. And this is the number of customers since the beginning. I shipped the Confluence plugin in June and the JIRA plugin in September, and I have almost 70 customers. I think it's 66 Confluence customers and 32 JIRA customers right now. This little article is from a newspaper you might have heard of that picked up on a blog post where I shared some revenue numbers. So that got me a lot of publicity. But basically, things are going very well. And now I'd like to pass on the floor to my co-presenters. Oren Teich from Replicate Tech is going to show you mockups for Confluence. And Adam Ride from Big Brass Band is going to show you mockups for JIRA. And I'd like them to introduce themselves a little bit and what their companies do.
All right, so I'll give Oren the opportunity to be the presenter. Oren, the floor is yours.
Great. Hi, thanks for having me, guys. So my name's Oren Teich. I'm VP of Product here at a startup company in Silicon Valley called Replicate Technologies. And at Replicate, we are making, we have a product out in market that is a systems management product, specifically for helping people who are running virtualized data centers. So we're going after a pretty geeky audience, and one of the key things that we really focused on when we were creating our product is user experience. What we realized is, although who we're going after is very, very technical, a lot of the challenges with many of the products in the market today is these technical products are frankly a nightmare to use, and there's so much detail going on that it can be almost impossible sometimes to even figure out what's going on. So from day one, about a little over a year ago when I first started with the company, we immediately started focusing on user interface, user interface, user interface. And to that end, when we were focusing on user interface, where we started is we actually started with, I started creating things in OmniGraffle. For those of you who aren't familiar with OmniGraffle, it's the Windows equivalent to Visio. It's just a drawing tool. And In fact, what I have here is you can actually see these are the original mock-ups I created in OmniGraffle, and I wanted to just show you. So what you can see here is a typical mock-up. You can see we've got the header bar, we've got the navigation on the left. I actually went to all the work of I put in all these functional requirements explaining exactly how everything's going to work. You can see as you go page by page through here, we can get a feel for what the flow of the product is going to look like, how the different panes and the different features are going to work. Here's the dashboard view we wanted to get. And you can see there's quite a bit of detail, and frankly, it looks great. I mean, it looks really good. Everyone was happy with it, except when it actually came time to implement. It turns out there are some serious issues with this. One is putting this together took me a ton of time. I probably, I don't know, each of these pages probably took me on the order of 4 or 5 hours, and there's 10 pages in here. So this was a solid work week of effort, 40, 50 hours, and that doesn't even include updating and making changes and working with other people. And on top of that, it looks great. And when I handed this off to my UI guy, what looks great meant doing was he would actually try and implement this exactly. So he was actually going in there and like trying to match this color blue, for example, or he was trying to get this exact stop sign with the exact bold. Here, I'll just make it a little bigger in case you guys want to see what's going on. So he was literally trying to line things up, and he's like, hey, I'm having problems, for example, lining these things up with the left, and I don't know if I can do that. And that was never my intention. The intention here was to mock it up, quite literally. But I have a UI expert, I have people on staff who know this stuff. I wanted to give them the indication of what we were trying to do, and I wanted them to actually be doing the implementation. And depending on what toolkit you're in, depending on what language you're using, the different implementations often will drive things. So I wanted to give them the direction, but not the basic product management. I wanted to give them requirements, not implementation, and that was getting lost. Luckily, so this is actually, we can see the date here was, sorry, the date here was June 26th, and right around the same time, you can actually, I luckily found this amazing thing called Mockups for Confluence, and sure enough, you can see here's Confluence. So we use Confluence for all of our wiki needs. For those of you may not be familiar with Confluence, it's Atlassian's product. It's their wiki product. It's one of the better wiki products out there on the market. And this is just a standard wiki. And you can see here in the wiki, what I did is I went and started re-implementing these in Confluence, in Balsamiq. And so I've categorized them based on the different sections. So here's like the base layout section, for example. And I can go into the base layout, and you can see here is an example of the base layout. And you'll notice that it's ugly, and I love it. This, I think, is one of the most genius aspects of what Peldy has done, is having his wife draw these things, because now there's no way you can confuse this. You can't look at this and say, this is what I'm supposed to be implementing. The UI guy has to be looking at this and saying, oh, well, clearly these are guidelines. This is just, okay, I need to create some folder hierarchy here. I don't know what it's going to look like. We'll see what I can do. It's also extremely easy to use. So for example, maybe we want to come in here and say, from a collaboration standpoint, maybe pretend I were to hand this off and the UI guy were to come in and say, this isn't going to quite work the way it looks right now. So I can come in here and I can edit the mock-up. Sorry, my computer's been having a little slow. We'll just let this load up for a second. I can come in here and edit the mock-up, and as part of editing that mock-up, Andy says, what? Actually, what I think is not only do we need to have a start, I don't actually want to have this close button here, so let's get rid of the close button, and instead, what I want to do is I want to have a cancel button over here. And then we'll just say mock-up, save and close, and added close button, got rid of X in upper corner, hit save. And so now a few things have happened. One is we're able to get this collaboration going back and forth really easily. Two, because of the way Confluence is worked and it's integrated, I just got a notification. So I was just obviously I did it myself, but I was just notified. Three, the wiki page has been automatically updated. You can see the changes here. And four, it's all been versioned. It's all been revision controlled. So in fact, the way they do the revision control here is if we go and look at the attachments, we can see and you can see here, for example, Matt Thomas is the UI guy, so you can see some things he's edited here. And if we come up here, mock-up new report, this is the one we just changed, and we can see here all the different versions that existed. So we can see, in fact, that who made it, how it worked, and what the changes were. So we've got this great ability, and I can immediately go back if I wanted to a previous version. So it really makes this whole entire process go very, very smoothly for us. And in fact, just to give you a feeling for how smoothly this has gone, if we do a little comparison here, luckily now we've actually implemented it. So just to give you a real feel, here's the product. And you'll notice that this looks pretty slick. This looks great. It looks like the mock-ups, but not quite exactly, but it kind of gets the best feel for it. And so this for us has just been a godsend, and it's something that we're continuing to use. So here's another page where we're creating a wizard, and this is actually something that you can see the date here. This is this past week. We're in the process of implementing this as we speak, so this will be out next week. And you can see here we've been able to create a wizard. And just to explain another quick feature here, what we did with this one is you'll notice some things are the same. You always have this next back, you always have the left-hand side, and mockups, Balsamiq lets you actually import other mockups. And so when I'm creating a new one here, I literally can just come in, and what you can do in a mockup is you can just say mockup, import mockup, and choose a previous mockup, and it'll just import that one directly in. And so then all of a sudden, what became hours for me before is literally, I don't know, creating this mockup, as you can see, is pretty trivial, but creating this mockup is probably about 5 minutes worth of work. And a more complex mockup, such as one of this one where I have different fields, is still only 10 minutes worth of work. So for me, it's really changed both how I interact with the engineer and where we're going. And it's just, I got to say, Peldy, thank you for creating the product. It's done a great job for my development cycle and for my company, so thank you.
Well, that was fantastic. I really like seeing how not only Atlassian products, but also plugins that, for example, Peldy has created here with Balsamiq are used out in the real world. So that was great. Thank you so much, Oren. I appreciate that. And with that, I would like to hand it over to Adam, so that Adam can Adam Ride is with Big Brass Band, and he'll give you his presentation on Balsamiq with JIRA.
All right. Hi, folks. My name is Adam Ride. I am a co-founder of Big Brass Band, a web application subscription manager service, and also a project manager working on a large-scale web app. Admittedly, I am also a Balsamiq Mockups fan, and I use it extensively on both of those projects. I'm here to talk about the platform that got me and my team using mockups, and that's Mockups for JIRA. We mainly use mockups to design new features. We'll mock up the needed UI, gather feedback, and then ship off the requirements to our developers. It's really quite easy. So early on in our project, we had two problems. The first was communicating our requirements to our development team in Russia, and the second, we were the bottleneck. We just couldn't produce the requirements quickly enough for them to work on and keep up with the schedule. When we heard that Peldy was interested in building a JIRA plugin, but was planning to release it down the road, we bugged him until he finished it up, which he did back in September of last year. And since then, by our estimates, we've designed a little over 100 new features, large and small, using mockups. Now let me give you a quick demonstration of mockups in JIRA. So what I need to do is add a new feature. We'll call it How to Add a Gizmo from Within the Wiki Editor. So when I started working on this mockup, I didn't have a connection to the internet, so I actually started with the desktop version. So what I can do is I can start in the desktop version, and I can go ahead and export the mockup. It'll just copy it to my clipboard. Then I can go into JIRA. This should look familiar for all the JIRA users. And I'll go in and create a new mockup. Then I'll go in here to import, and I'll just paste that code right in, and I'll import it. So here we go. All right. So now the next thing I need to do is actually go ahead and add the UI that I want. So I'll extend that toolbar a little bit. I'll add this little icon. Peldy has a great library of icons I can choose from. Change the size to match the toolbar size. And then I'll add a tooltip so that the developers know how we want that labeled. Go ahead and add this. Label that, add gizmo. All right. Now the next thing I want to do is show what the UI for the next step. Now for this one, I've actually gone ahead and taken a screenshot of the next one, since we're not going to change that. And we're going to go ahead and import that. Now I've already attached the screenshot to the JIRA ticket, and I'm going to choose it right here. And now, special for this presentation, Peldy has actually added a little feature where you can preview what it looks like with the SketchUp tool. And that's a great little tool, because then it keeps the same fidelity for both the screenshot and for the mockup. Now the next step will be what it looks like once we've already added the gizmo. So I'll go ahead and I'll just copy, Control-C, Control-V, and I'll bring it down here. Put it right here. Now to make it a little bit more realistic, I'll come in here and I'll add a little bit of filler text. We don't want quite that much, so we'll delete that. And now we'll add a placeholder for this gizmo. So we'll drop that in, drop in another one. All right. Now with this we're set, so we'll go ahead and save and close. We'll give it a name, add gizmo, and we'll save it. Now, just like in Confluence, the orange showed you, you now have this great screenshot that you can use. Now, I've realized now that I've forgotten one control, so I'll go ahead and edit the mockup. Go right back in. I can choose from the mockups that are attached to this issue. Go ahead and edit, and I'll add a button. And what I'm missing is my publish button. So come in here, add the publish button. Scroll down so that we're consistent. And we're set. So go ahead and save. And that will create a new version, and I'll add a comment to make sure that everyone who sees this ticket knows what changed. So added publish button. And you notice that you see the comment right down here at the bottom of the ticket. So now the mockup's ready to be sent to my team for feedback before we send it to the development team to be coded and developed. The mockups for JIRA is great to work with, and it's been equally productive for large-scale projects as well as my startup, Big Brass Band. Best of luck to everyone.
That's great. Thank you so much, Adam. It's really cool, again, to see how these things are used in real life, and quite frankly, you know, in watching both you and Oren, it reminds me of just how incredibly simple it is to use Balsamiq's Mockups. So with that, I'll take control again, and
Todd, I have a couple more slides.
Oh, okay, Peldy. There you have it.
Thank you. So thanks, Oren and Adam. It's really fantastic to see the product being used by in anger by people for real projects. It makes all the long nights of coding worthwhile for me. Just one final slide, a couple of slides. One, if you want to learn more about mockups, you can go to balsamiq.com, balsamiq.com, and a little bit of pricing. Mockups for Confluence basically costs half of what Confluence does. It's got the same tiers, team, work group, enterprise, etc. And so the cheapest is $600 for 25 editors, and that means people who can create and edit mockups. Everybody else will be able to see them, of course. And it works with Confluence 2.5.1 and above. Mockups for JIRA instead is $799, regardless of what JIRA installation you have, and it can be used by anybody who has access to your JIRA install. Both of these come with free desktop licenses, so that when you're offline, you can continue working on your mockups. But if you wanted to just try it out or buy a desktop license, those are $79 per user, and then there are discounts for volume licenses. One final slide is that in order to thank you for your time today, I would like to share with you this discount code. which is BBBREPL. If you need to remember it, it's Big Breast Band Replicate. And if you enter that when you buy on my website, you will get $100 off mockups for Confluence or mockups for JIRA. And the offer is valid until March 8th, which is basically this week and next. So even if you're watching this recorded and it's before March 8th, you can take advantage of it. And that's all I had, Todd.
Well, that's great,
And
Peldy.
if you have any questions for me or Adam or Oren, we're here.
So that's our next slide is if you have any questions, now's the time to ask them. Let me see. Well, we do have a few questions. Well, it's an interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Here's the question. It's is it possible to export these images?
The images are saved, just the regular images. They're PNG images, so you can reuse them whichever way you want. I don't know if there's a follow-up question to that.
No, that was just the straight question. Another question that you had already answered was the pricing mechanism. I think there actually are not very many questions right now, and I think the reason why is because, quite frankly, it's so darn easy to use that there's not a ton of questions that we're coming through right now. It's been great to have you, all three of you, present and show how you use Balsamiq for JIRA and for Confluence. With that, I would like to again thank Peldy and Adam and Oren for their time as well as their demos. Of course, you can always go to Atlassian.com/developers for any additional information, as well as you can see this recording and get the discount code at Atlassian.com/TV. And again, the discount is $100, not 100%. I would think that Peldy would prefer the $100 off. With that, I would also like to tell you about our upcoming webinars. On March 11th, we'll be doing Voice of the Customer with Walton Smith of Booz Allen Hamilton. And on March 26th, we'll be doing another Plugin of the Month with Mark Ringer of Rally Dev on Agile. Of course, you can find out all of that information at Atlassian.com/about/events, as well as contact Morgan at Atlassian.com. And we'd also like to send out a quick reminder that we're having our first ever Atlassian Summit at the end of May 31st to June 2nd. It's right before Java 1, so it's an opportunity for you to go to Atlassian Summit and Java 1 all in one plane fare. It will be at the Palace Hotel. The early bird runs until April 20th, so now is the time to act if you want to get the lower price. There's multiple tracks on collaboration, on development tools and plugins and APIs. And there'll be customers, partners, and developers there. It should be a really great event. We're really looking forward to it, as well as you can find out any information that you would like at Atlassian.com/summit. And with that, I would like to end this month's Plugin of the Month. Again, I would like to say a special thank you to Peldy, to Oren, and to Adam. Thanks so much. I really appreciate your time, and we're very excited to have this plugin with our products. So thank you again, and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye.